Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. In the world around us, an invisible war is constantly being waged. It's a conflict of espionage, chemical warfare, and mind control that makes science fiction look tame. The soldiers in this war are not what you might expect. They are the unseen architects of our world. Parasitic wasps. Forget the yellow jackets at your picnic. These creatures are part of a far more diverse and complex group. They shape ecosystems and drive evolution, all through a grisly and fascinating lifestyle. Today, we're diving deep into their world. The term parasitic wasp is actually a bit of a misnomer. For most of these insects, the more accurate scientific term is parasitoid. A true parasite lives on a host without necessarily killing it. A parasitoid, however, has a much more fatal relationship. The female lays her eggs on or inside a host, and her offspring slowly consume it from the inside out, ultimately leading to the host's death. This lethal outcome is what makes them such powerful agents of ecological control. The sheer diversity of these wasps is mind-boggling. Some experts suggest there could be over 1 million species, making them one of the most species-rich groups of animals on the planet. They are categorized into different guilds based on their strategies. Endoparasitoids lay their eggs inside the host, while ectoparasitoids lay them on the outside. Then there's the method of manipulation. Idiobionts are wasps that paralyze their host immediately. The host becomes a living, inert pantry for the developing larva. This is common for ectoparasitoids. Coenobionts, on the other hand, are more subtle. They allow their host to continue living, feeding, and growing after being parasitized. The wasp larva develops inside a living, active host, which requires a much more sophisticated level of manipulation to overcome the host's immune system and control its development. This is a common strategy for endoparasitoids. Finally, some wasps are solitary, with a single larva per host, while others are gregarious, with dozens or even hundreds developing within one unfortunate victim. The life cycle of a parasitoid wasp is a masterclass in chilling efficiency. It all starts with the adult female, whose sole purpose is to find a suitable host for her offspring. This hunt is a sensory tour de force. She can tune into the chemical signals, or pheromones, released by her targets. She can detect the faint vibrations of a caterpillar munching on a leaf. Some can even sense the carbon dioxide their victims exhale. Her antennae are incredibly sensitive instruments, constantly sampling the environment for the telltale signs of a host. Once a potential victim is located, the female assesses its quality. Is it the right species? The right size? Has another wasp already claimed it? Using a combination of chemical and physical cues, she makes her decision. If the host is suitable, the drama unfolds. The ovipositor, that long needle-like structure at the end of her abdomen, is a masterpiece of biological engineering. It's not just for laying eggs, it's a multi-tool. It can drill through solid wood, penetrate tough exoskeletons, and deliver a potent cocktail of venom. The giant ichneumon wasp, for instance, has an ovipositor several times the length of its body, allowing it to reach wood-boring beetle larvae deep inside a tree. As the eggs pass down this narrow channel, they can be squeezed into a long, thin shape, snapping back to their original form once inside the host. For endoparasitoids, this is just the beginning of the invasion. The host's body is a hostile environment, with an immune system ready to attack any foreign invader. To survive, the mother wasp injects a mixture of venom and, in many cases, symbiotic viruses along with her eggs. These substances suppress the host's immune system, preventing her eggs from being encapsulated and destroyed by the host's blood cells. The larva itself has clever adaptations. For instance, endoparasitoid larvae have an incomplete digestive system with no rear opening. This prevents them from contaminating their living food source with their own waste. The larva feeds strategically, consuming non-essential tissues like fat bodies first to keep the host alive as long as possible. The final act is the emergence. This is almost always fatal for the host. The mature larva chews its way out, sometimes pupating in a silken cocoon on or near the host's now empty husk. From this cocoon, an adult wasp emerges, ready to start the cycle all over again. This relationship between wasp and host is a classic example of a co-evolutionary arms race. For millions of years, each side has developed new strategies and counter-strategies. Hosts have an impressive arsenal of defenses. The first line is behavioral. Caterpillars will wriggle violently, drop from a leaf on a silken thread, or even try to bite an attacking wasp. Some have developed camouflage to hide in plain sight. If a wasp does manage to lay an egg inside, the host's immune system kicks in. The primary defense is encapsulation, where blood cells surround the foreign egg, forming a hardened capsule to suffocate it. Some insects even employ chemical defenses. They might sequester toxic compounds from the plants they eat, making their bodies poisonous to a developing parasitoid. Incredibly, some caterpillars have been observed switching to a more toxic diet when parasitized, a form of self-medication to try and kill the invader. But for every defense, the wasps have a counteroffensive. Many are incredibly fast and agile, simply overpowering the host's behavioral defenses. Others are masters of stealth. To overcome the immune system, some wasps lay eggs with a special coating that mimics the host's own tissues, allowing them to go unrecognized. Others have evolved to develop so rapidly that they hatch before the immune system can even mount a response. The wasp's venom is its most complex weapon. In idiobionts, it's a simple paralytic, but in coinobionts, the venom is a sophisticated chemical cocktail that can suppress the immune system, alter the host's development, and regulate its metabolism, all for the benefit of the wasp larva. Perhaps the most extraordinary weapon in their arsenal is a symbiotic virus known as a polydenovirus. The virus's DNA is actually integrated into the wasp's own genome and is passed down from generation to generation. Virus particles are assembled in the female wasp's ovaries and are injected into the host along with the eggs. Once inside the host, the virus doesn't replicate to make more virus. Instead, it infects the host's cells and expresses its genes. These viral genes produce proteins that systematically dismantle the host's immune defenses, preventing the encapsulation of the wasp's eggs. They can also halt the host's development, ensuring it remains a plump, juicy larva for the wasp to feed on. This is a partnership honed by millions of years of co-evolution. The wasp gives the virus a ride, and the virus gives the wasp the tools to conquer its host. The manipulation doesn't stop at the immune system. Some species are true masters of mind control, turning their hosts into zombies. One of the most famous examples is the emerald jewel wasp and its victim, the American cockroach. The female wasp's attack is a two-step process of precise neurosurgery. First, she delivers a sting to the cockroach's body, causing temporary paralysis of its front legs. This allows her to position herself for the second, more delicate sting. She then injects her venom directly into the cockroach brain, targeting specific areas that control the roach's motivation to move. The venom doesn't paralyze the roach. Instead, it puts it into a state of hypokinesia. The cockroach is capable of walking, but has lost all will to do so on its own. It becomes a docile, zombified slave. The wasp then grabs the cockroach by its antennae and leads it, like a dog on a leash, back to her burrow. She lays a single egg on the roach abdomen, seals the entrance, and leaves. The cockroach, still alive but with no desire to escape, simply waits for the wasp larva to hatch, burrow into its body, and eat it alive. Another astounding example is the Glyptopanthes wasp. This species lays dozens of eggs inside a caterpillar. The larvae develop inside, and when they're ready to pupate, they chew their way out and spin their cocoons nearby. But the caterpillar's ordeal isn't over. In a final, twisted act of servitude, the dying caterpillar becomes a loyal bodyguard for its own murderers. It stops feeding and moving, But if any predator, like a stink bug, approaches the wasp cocoons, the caterpillar will thrash its head violently to drive it away. It will even spin a silken blanket over the cocoons for extra protection. The caterpillar stands guard until the adult wasps emerge, at which point it finally dies of starvation. It's believed that a few wasp larvae remain inside the caterpillar's brain, orchestrating this bizarre, selfless behavior from within. The world of parasitism is a tangled web. There are even parasites of parasites. Some wasps, known as kleptoparasites or